talk to me about this. Um, I feel that problems in the past have damaged SIU's reputation with the community and abroad. What issues do you feel have strained relations between the school and our community?
I think anytime the university has a problem, the community sees the effect of it. So when their enrollment goes down, the businesses suffer, and there have been attempts to work both sides of that. The business communities come together to offer scholarships and to support open houses and things like that on campus. But I don't think there have been any major disasters that have happened on campus that have related to some negative opinion in the community. You have to realize a lot of the people that work on campus live in Carbondale, and that could have an impact because maybe they don't like the management of the university, or some decisions don't go over very well, and so that can have an impact. But overall, I don't think there's a bad relationship between the two entities.
Okay. How do you think the community feels about SIU and students?
I think everybody realizes that without the university, there wouldn't be a Carbondale as it exists today. So the people that I talk to understand that it's a positive force. There are some downsides because any time you bring together as many different kind of people as we have on campus, there are different things that happen in and about the community. And so there are upsides and downsides, but I think most people see it as a very positive component of the community.
Okay. What steps do you think students could take to improve relations between SIU and the community?
Well, I think that I was a student at SIU, and I've been in Carbondale 20 years. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I've seen a lot of issues. I think if students really want to see an improved relationship, or if they want to see an increased external opinion of the university and the community, then students need to be better students. They need to be involved, but they need to come here and do what it is they're supposed to do here, which is go to school, graduate, be productive, go out, be successful, and then through their success, it relates back to the campus. The more success stories that are out and about in the world, the more people are hearing good things about SIU and Carbondale, and then their opinion of both increases. And so, I think if students, I think students need to have a good time, and I certainly did, but I don't think that's the only reason they should go to college. So if the emphasis is on students, the best thing they can do is be good students and be productive while they're here and contribute what they can and go out and do great things.
What steps do you think the community could take to improve relations with the school?
I think the relations are as good as they have ever been, at least in anyone's recent memory. I can't attest for it 100 years ago, but the relationship between the city and the university as entities, I don't think could be any better. You've seen the city undertook a sizable initiative to support construction of new projects on campus and funding things that will be beneficial to the whole region. That's never happened anywhere else at any college or in any community anywhere in the United States that I'm aware of, as far as public investment in university facilities that are operated by the university. So that was a big step. But we have good communication, we have a lot of dialogue, we talk about issues regularly at all levels of the city and university administration. So I think it's pretty good. I'm not sure what more could be done as far as the organizational aspect is concerned. There can always be improvements in dealing one-on-one with people, or with dealing with students, or dealing with faculty, or dealing with whoever, visitors that come in and out, because there's always going to be somebody that has a problem. That doesn't mean that we stop writing parking tickets, but it does mean that how we handle that parking ticket, if somebody's upset, may have a better impression afterwards. So
Okay.
things like that maybe.
Well, what we're proposing is we're going to try and reorganize the volunteer corps on campus and try and promote more community involvement with students. What aspects of the community do you think should be the primary focus of that?
You know, I think the volunteer aspect is important as far as organized efforts to do things. But maybe more so would be an individualized effort. So instead of getting a group of 100 students once a month that go and pick up litter, and they walk up and down the street and pick up all the litter that may be out there, maybe a campaign where you have 1 or 2 people that do the same thing but for their block, and they do it once a week, or maybe every day if there's a need for it. The biggest complaint that we hear about students, and what causes probably the biggest conflict between the established residents of Carbondale and the transient student population, is that students don't take care of their property. They park the car in the front yard. Maybe they have a party, which nobody really is worried about them having a party, but then the next day you got all these cups and trash out in the front lawn all day. You know, maybe if there's little steps that could be taken just to help improve the general appearance of neighborhoods, that would go a long way. And you could do that still in an organized way, but with smaller groups. You know, 1 or 2 people in a neighborhood or on a block or their apartment complex or something like that. And so acting a little bit more responsibly and just understanding some of the issues around their housing area. You know, that maybe there are people that have lived there for 50 years and, you know, they wouldn't appreciate seeing something. Or maybe to the same extent, if there's a problem with somebody that's elderly, maybe lives in the neighborhood, maybe they got a big tree limb down because of a storm, maybe that one of these little small groups of people would go over and pick it up, maybe cut it up, take it out to the curb so that somebody could come pick it up later. You know, we pick stuff up like that. So little efforts could have a very big impact versus one big effort that's not as frequent.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. Well, we're trying to provide incentive for even on that individual basis, like just to have more of a sense of pride in the community, because I feel like a lot of kids just come here. Oh yeah, I don't actually live in Carbondale. I'm just here to go to school. You know.
Right. Well, the incentive is what your objective is really to achieve, which is a better opinion or heightened public relations regarding the university, right?
Right.
So if you can convince somebody that, hey, if you take care of your property, if you are nice to your neighbors, and if you do well in school, or at least do good enough to get out, that once you go out into the world and you start making something of yourself, that's going to translate because you've done these few things right, that Carbondale has a good opinion of you, and you've been successful, and now people have a good opinion of Carbondale because of that. Just little things that may add up.
I'm glad you touched on that, because that's one of our goals for this whole public relations plan, is to give students a sense of community that they can take to wherever else they go.
Yeah.
You know.
As I said before, I had a good time in college, and I think you have to. You have to have a good time in life. But if you come to Carbondale and SIU, or anywhere else, and you treat it like a party school, or you treat it like someplace where you're only going to be for a couple years, then that's how it's going to be perceived. So if you treat it like it's your home, and you treat it like you're serious about your academic pursuits, then that's how it's going to be perceived. So if you don't want it to be thought of poorly, don't think of it poorly.
Just one more question. Where does the community stand to benefit most from volunteer work, do you think?
I think in those issues of neighborhood appearance and cleanup and things like that, little stuff, you know, litter is a fact of life, unfortunately, and it really has a downside to it, because when people drive through town, they see it and it looks ugly. And so, you know, the cleanup type stuff, which we try to do all the time, year round, there's always a need for that. That's probably the biggest area. But acting responsibly year round is a big part of it too.
Right.
So if more people were like you, we wouldn't have any of these problems.